Please say your name.
Yeah, it's Chris Ernesto.
Hi, Chris. Beautiful Saturday here in Tampa. Why are you taking time out to do this protest regarding Bradley Manning?
Yeah, it's in solidarity with the international movement to support Bradley Manning.
So
And
there's an international movement going on as we speak.
that's right. And there's also actions going on around the country this weekend as well. There was one in Washington, D.C. yesterday, and there's some around the country today.
What is your hope, purpose for this protest?
To raise awareness about what the United States government military is doing to Bradley Manning, and most importantly, to talk about what Bradley Manning exposed. He had the courage, and he took the Geneva Convention at heart. And the Geneva Convention says if you're complicit in war crimes, you're guilty of not exposing them. So he was forced with the moral dilemma of either holding the information in and being guilty of the Geneva Conventions and the Nuremberg trials, or he had to do what was right, and that is talk about what the United States government was doing. And he used WikiLeaks, and he talks about how the United States targets innocent civilians and tortures people. And our government doesn't want that information getting out, and I believe that's why they have tortured him, and they're trying to throw him in jail for a long time.
For life, actually.
That's what their goal is. They got the clearance for that the other day, so unfortunately, yes.
So what's some of the things that PFC Manning has exposed, if you will?
Yeah, of course, the main one was that the Iraq war logs, which showed Apache helicopters firing on Reuters camera people and on unarmed innocent civilians using terminology like light them up, keep shooting, good job. They killed a child and innocent people that day, and we're proud of it. And he also exposed how we have black sites that are torturing people who have been put in jail without charge.
So Reuters are American media. So this country's killed its own media personnel.
Yeah, that's right. And it's funny that back the justification for the Iraq War was that Saddam was killing his own people. Yeah, when it comes to light that we're killing our own people, we try to hush it up.
So in one way, Obama is no better than his namesake.
He's probably
Barack
worse.
Hussein Obama is
Yeah.
Hussein.
That's right. Yeah, and we know that Iraq is much worse off today than it was before the war. I mean, really, only the terminally naive believed the justifications for going to war with Iraq. But even today, those people are forced to admit that Iraq is a disaster today, where there's daily car bombings. We have pitted Sunni versus Shia, who used to live in peace amongst each other. We've armed both sides, and we've devastated the country. And that's what Bradley Manning was helping to expose. And of course, that's why they want to keep him quiet.
Do you think Manning should have deserted to Russia?
I think that he was in a situation where he didn't realize the wrath of the American government, and he could only at that moment try to react. It's a little different than Edward Snowden, who had a little more knowledge of what could happen to him because Snowden saw what was happening to Manning. The most glaring example before Manning was Daniel Ellsberg, so he didn't have the point of reference. I imagine if he had a choice to do it again, he would have to think about it, because it's really difficult to give up your life. But I do know this, that if he's going to face what he is, the least that we can do is help him expose what he was trying to expose.
It's very doubtful that Barack Hussein Obama would ever pardon him. But would you hope to bring to the attention of the next president that maybe the next president of the United States should pardon Manning?
Hopefully he'll be out of jail before then, because the colonel, the judge who's going to make the decision, I hope that she realizes he's already been tortured and spent 3 years locked up.
Incarcerated, yes.
Basically a year and a half in solitary. And hopefully that she actually refers back to the Constitution and takes her vow seriously. And worst case is that she gives him time served. If that doesn't happen, there's virtually no chance that Obama pardons him, because Obama, just like the president before him, is a war criminal, And what Manning exposed is going to make Obama look really bad, and he wouldn't want to do that.
Do you think Edward Snowden's information could possibly be used somewhere down the line to help Manning in an appeal?
You know, it's a really good point, and absolutely, and it's probably one of the reasons why they're coming down so heavily on Snowden now, because what he's exposing corroborates what Manning exposed. And if a journalist, other than Glenn Greenwald and a few others, had the desire, they could piece things together and realize that the real issue here is that the United States government has turned into a totalitarian state, that they spy on their own people, and they told us after September 11th that if you see something, say something. But Bradley Manning and Edward Snowden saw something and said something, and they're being persecuted for it.
If you were able to speak directly to Manning right now, PFC Manning, what would you say to him?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy for us to say that we're proud of you and you're going to help make the world a better place. And the work and the sacrifice that Manning and Snowden have already made, it's already opened up a dialogue that otherwise would not have been had. I can't imagine the circumstances that they're living under. I would just say that even though the general media and the general public may not be indebted to them down the road after things get better because of what they exposed, they will be looked upon in American history as heroes.
Do you think we should start a supportive writing group? People writing messages of support and, cheering Manning up just in case they do throw the book at him. Do you think that would be a nice thing for Americans to do?
It would be really helpful, wouldn't it, in his position to get a letter of encouragement, maybe even a flood of letters. I have to imagine that it's tough to get by every single day. And if I were in his position, anything that I receive from the outside would be greatly appreciated. So I think it's a great idea.
Cool.